Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, really, this is the social selling model. This is what we've all learned and what you've all been participating in. It should look really familiar. It should be a graphic that you've seen a few times. It's really unique. You know, you guys might be in this and be kind of thinking, you know, this is really neat, but I don't think that a lot of us really understand really the gravity of how cool this is. So to be able to do this for free, to jump in, do a post, it's really about 5 different posts is what we've decided. We call it a 3 post cycle. But really, it's a first post, which is a before and after, a second, last chance to order, and then a third, which is the OMG post. But Brent actually informed me there's people that are doing a really cool post in between those two. And what they do is they do a post that says, "Hey, it's in the mail." And they actually they take a picture of all their orders ready to ship out, and they tag every single customer. And the reason that that's relevant, first and foremost, is it tells the person that you're about to send out the product, but it also puts that product and that post on all of their walls. So that's a good idea if you're looking for something to do to potentially sell more product or expose your business to more people. Start tagging your customers in the post that says, "Hey, it's in the mail." And then also there's a 5th post that we've been doing that is really kind of after the OMG, and it's more of a strict recruiting post. But yeah, this is really the whole model though, is you post, you collect money, you use that money to buy products, you ship it out, and then you follow up with people. And as you do that over and over and over again, you're going to do a few things that progress you through the compensation plan to help you to build your business really quickly. And then the purpose of this call is we want to talk specifically about recruiting and how to invite people to your business, maybe after you've done a couple of recruiting posts and you feel like not as many people are reaching out to you, or what you can do to continue to recruit and build your business after that. And Brent, did you want me to start into that, or do you want me to? I know we had Nick on the call too, and we wanted to maybe invite him to go over some of his tips on recruiting as well. What did you want to do there?
Yeah, so I want to talk just a little bit about this
Sure.
daily, like a daily plan of action. We're not going to use slides all the way through here, so I just want to talk about a little bit of daily mode of action or daily mode of operation. You know, if you're in business, you kind of want to have a plan every day. So what that looks like for me is the first thing I do in the morning is I look at my birthday list. And I make sure that I don't just wish people happy birthday on their wall because that doesn't make a Facebook hard connection to them. I make sure that I actually take the time to look at their profile and message them and wish them some kind of meaningful birthday wish. Usually it's not always that meaningful, but I do wish them a happy birthday and then tell them that I hope that they get their wish. Hope that they when they blow out the candles they get their wish. Something that's a little bit personal, just because Facebook really likes making a direct connection through Messenger. It makes it so that your posts and your engagement with that person is more seen. So in the feed, those people are going to see you more. So that's the first thing that I do. I also use that as a way to refresh my Facebook. I want to make sure that anybody that I don't think is a candidate for my business, or if I look at their profile and they've got really small friend following and maybe they're already new skin distributors and not in my team, I'm going to unfriend them because I need the space, because I always want to keep my Facebook at 5,000 friends because it's literally a free advertising platform. So anybody here that's building, you want to set that as a goal to get to 5,000 friends. Now, I'm not suggesting that you just go and friend any person, any stranger. You're going to want to friend people that have friends in common with you, and you're going to want to look at those profiles and see if they're people that you'd love to have in your business. So that's, you want to have lots of engagement with your social platforms, lots of posting, lots of, whatever motivational quotes, things that you're doing, all that. You want to make sure you stay engaged with the platform because otherwise you're just kind of forgotten by the algorithm. Blake will talk about that in a minute. So make lots of connections, be like, use the emojis, make comments. Don't just like things as you're scrolling through, because people are looking for who is commenting and who who are engaged with them. So be social on social media. Um, Follow the 80-20 rule. I really believe that if you're building the business, you really should be going through a post cycle. Now, what's a post cycle? Blake just went through it. Well, he went through the model. The post cycle is telling a story, so before and after, and then a last call, and then a recruiting post, which is the ultimate goal of that story. um, this other post that they're talking about that is actually after your recruiting post, when you're actually going to ship out product, you tag all your customers. What that does is makes another hard connection to a larger audience, and that's what you're trying to do. It's all about influence, and that's on the slide. It's all about making connections and influence. So that's kind of the first few things I do and think about each day. I make sure I do that every single day. You want to make sure that you recruit daily, every day that you're reaching out, both on social media and on the telephone, heaven forbid, reaching out, texting, calling, and telling people your story, whatever that story was with your first couple of posts. How much money did you make? How are you liking the product? Again, your goal is to tell that story both on and offline. So, and then you're going to want to learn daily. You're going to want to learn something every day about either building your network or building social marketing. And then you want to commit to the next event, which in this case is Social Team Elite University. If you're not living here, then we're talking about an airline ticket and a hotel. It is the most valuable thing that you can do to go to the next level and build toward having your own business out of your home. So commit to that next level wherever you are. Commit to, if you have your LOI filed, make sure that you pass your qualifications this month. If you're an executive, make sure you pass your qualifications this month and that you're helping other people on the road to executive. That is the big difference between qualifying and not qualifying. Is as an executive, you count all volume, whether that person's qualifying in month 0 or month 3. All volume is counted by an executive. So if you're helping 1 or 2 people through qualification, you're going to be fine yourself. This is all about helping other people. That's just a little bit different when you're qualifying. 2 people can't qualify on the same dollar, so be aware of that. That's called encumbered volume. We've got videos about that because it is a sticking point. Be connected to your upline always. Whoever sponsored you was sponsored by somebody who is an executive distributor. If you're an executive distributor, you've been through this process and you're being paid to help other people through the process and the compensation plan. So, that's kind of all I had, Blake, and then we're going to turn these slides off and we're going to get some prospecting. And what do you do, Blake, when somebody responds positively to one of your recruiting posts? Let's talk about recruiting posts and what you do next.
Sure. So one of the really common recruiting posts that we see that I'll use as an example, there's a bunch. A lot of them have gotten really, really good response. The one that we use the most frequently has been adapted a couple of times. And it basically says, who wants to make $100 to $500 this week or something like that. And says it's 100% free. And where I see a lot of questions come up are people saying things like, well, what do I say after someone says that I want info or whatever? And I wanted to just kind of tell you that, when someone says that they're interested in the business, the first thing that I tell them is what we're doing is really, really simple. We're basically just posting pictures of before and afters of a product that we're promoting. And then actually you just collect sales and then ship them out. And the average person makes anywhere from $100 to $500 their first week. Is that something that you'd be interested in? And if they say yes, then I say, great. The next thing we need to do is your first post. I literally don't give them a ton of information. And then if they say, okay, great, let's get started, I help them through their first post. I add them to the group. I tell them the purpose of the group. I get their post boosted for them. At that time, while they're waiting for their post to get boosted, that's when I'll have them sign up for their distributor ID, just because I want to make sure that there's no issues with that. I let them know this is a free way to sign up. This is how you get your distributor ID that allows you to get wholesale pricing on all of Nu Skin's products. And then I help them through that. And eventually they're going to get, of their first sale, and they're going to get excited, and all their questions are going to come out. The other situation is someone says, okay, I want a little more information. If someone says they want more information, I'll send them the 4-minute video that was done by Rebecca Morris. That's a great way to introduce someone to what we're doing and give them enough information to see that it's something that's real, that we're partnered with a company that's a multi-billion-dollar-a-year company, and that it's really, really simple. There's other products, and that gets them excited. I say, if they watch that, I say, great, what'd you think of that? And if they want to get started, I'll do the same thing. I'll get them started. If someone, after watching the 4-minute video, says they have more questions, I'll send them the 10-minute video by Derek Tillotson that kind of walks through the whole process. And typically at that point, you have someone that wants a lot of information, that's a little more analytical. That's not bad. That's a good thing. That's just someone that wants to know what you're doing and wants to know what they're getting into. That's great. Send them that. One word of warning that I'll give you is if someone says that they want to try the product first, or they ask any questions about the toothpaste, I typically immediately back off and start talking about the toothpaste and ensure that I get a tube of toothpaste in their hands. So I'll typically just sell it to them and say, how about this? If you're interested in trying the product before doing a post, I can sell you one. I'll sell them one at retail. I'll ship it out to them. I'll follow up with them, and then I'll make sure that I upgrade them later. But really, that's how I do it. I literally just go through that process. And what that's called is it's called assuming the sale. Okay. I'm a sales guy. That's my background. I literally just assume that when someone's interested in what I posted about, that they're going to do it. They're going to make the next step. And every single time at those 3 checkpoints, I invite them to do a post. There's people that get like 20, 30, 40. We've had people that get 50 people that are messaging them after these recruiting posts. Not all 50 of those people generally are going to do a post, and that's okay. Okay. Just follow up with those people. They're definitely watching what you do. Spend your time and energy on the people that respond to you. Help them get posting, help them get going, make sure their posts get boosted. Do all the little things. And ultimately, if you're doing those things with recruiting, you're going to be really successful. Nick has done a great video that's gotten a lot of traction. And Nick, this is where I'm going to call on you. Okay. This is your time. So we were going to ask you to do in the pre-meeting, but you're great at it, so I'm not worried at all. He did a video that he talks about proactively reaching out to people and how he recruits people. So Nick, if you want to take a couple minutes and just talk about, the type of person that you look for and how you invite them to do the business or invite them to check it out, that would be awesome for us.
Okay, perfect. I was just messaging that I was muted, so thanks for whoever unmuted me. So
that was me.
Perfect. Thank you. So yeah, I think this is about sorting and sifting through. We do talk to a lot of people, and you're more looking for those that are looking for an opportunity and that are ready to do something like this. And so, I like to reach out. I have a few different methods of how I've recruited people onto my team. Some of those are recruiting posts. Some of those are referral posts, and I think your customers are one of the best sources of people that you have to actually upgrade to be a distributor. And so it's about doing good follow-up with them and asking them a simple question and just say, hey, I know you love the product. Would you like to have some fun and make some extra money recommending the product on social media? Okay, so I'll say that one more time. Would you like to have some fun and make some extra money recommending the product on social media? And so a lot of people have come onto my team. I have several people that are either executives or qualifying as executives now that were customers first. And the second thing is just, the next thing outside of recruiting posts, referral posts, is just on a daily basis picking up the phone. And that's how we used to do it. I think that's where I maybe have a little bit more experience than the average person here, is because for the last 5 years, I was, we would do this by mostly picking up the phone by talking to people. And there's a couple different things that I like to do when I talk to someone is I like to ask a couple of questions, just ask, hey, how's your life going? What's new? How's your family? A few different things you can talk about. There's an acronym. It's called FORM. So family, occupation, recreation, and money. Talk about how's your family? How's your job? How's the economy treating you guys? And when you're doing that, you're looking for maybe them to say something that could give you an in or a reason of what you should say to them, or a reason why they could maybe benefit from your business. So that if they say, my job's not really going that great, I'm getting my hours cut, my commissions cut, and you can be, oh, really? Well, I found a really great way to make extra money for free on social media. Would you be open to learning about it? And so you kind of look for a way in right there. And then you don't want to get into a long conversation and talk to someone for a long time, then say, hey, by the way, you should join my business, right? Because if you do that, then they're going to feel like maybe the whole conversation you guys had wasn't that genuine, and you were only really talking to them so you could get them to join your business. And so I like to just talk to people and say, hey, the reason I'm reaching out is because, you can say a few different things. It's important to have maybe a couple bullet points of what would catch their attention, right? So we talk about the 4 different C's, and that first one is to compliment them. Say, tell them why you actually wanted to reach out to them. And so, because a lot of us, I think, a lot of people out there have gotten spam messages from people in different companies saying, it's a copy and paste. It's join my team. You're like, you can make all this money. And I think if you come across as more genuine, more personal and authentic, then you can really have a better result. And so I always reach out and I'll say, hey, I thought about reaching out to you because of this reason, because, I know you're a really hard worker. I know you're really entrepreneurial. You've got, I know you're really well connected. And then share a couple of things to create some curiosity. So a couple of things I say is, hey, I'm launching my social media business, and it's been a lot of fun. People in my team are making anywhere from $50 to $500+ from just a couple posts on Facebook about our whitening toothpaste. And then, you can say different things like, hey, I'm working on qualifying for a free trip to South Africa right now, and helping other people do that with me. All of my social media business. And so sharing just a couple bullet points right there of what could capture some curiosity. Then the next step is you don't want to say too much. The next step is control yourself. Make sure you don't throw up on them and tell them everything about the Facebook algorithm and how things work. And the 5 cycle post, the 5 post cycle. That's really just get them to post. And so you want to just commit them. Keep it as simple as you can. I like what Blake said about when someone comments on a recruiting post, just say, we show you how to do a series of a couple posts on Facebook, and I'll send you a template, the words to say, and a picture to use. And people on average from just a couple posts make anywhere from $50 to $500+ within their first 24 to 48 hours. If people want more information, what I'll sometimes do is send them that 4-minute video. And there's a question I like to use. It's kind of like an if I would you question. I say, if I were to send you a short 4-minute video that explains how it works, would you be open to looking at it, right? Would you be open to checking it out? So I'm not just going to say, here's my video, watch this, let me know when you're done watching it. I'm going to always ask them that question. If I were to send you this video, would you take a look at it, right? Because you don't want to waste your time, and you also don't want to just be, throwing everything at somebody when they're not really interested. And so they kind of make a commitment right there that they're actually going to watch it. And then a lot of you guys, what I think you do is you guys say, okay, great, let me know what you think. And you're done, right? And you're sitting there, you're wondering, did they watch it? Did they not watch it? Should I follow up? Should I not follow up? Am I being pushy? Am I not being pushy? And so what you want to say is, after you send the video, how soon can you watch it? Okay, that way you know when to follow up. And what do you say when you go to follow up with them? You say, what did you like from what you saw? Okay, what did you like from the video? Get them focused on the positive. And then what you guys want to do is just share your success story. Share how it went for you. For my first couple posts, I was able to make, even if it's $10, I was able to make extra money to pay, pay for part of my bills and pay for some of my gas. And then it's really just get them to do a post. And I like what Brent says is he makes it very, very simple for people. And he says, just do a 24-hour trial. If someone's hesitant, if they're not sure, then just say, hey, you don't even need to sign up yet. Let's just do your first couple posts, see how it goes. Just do a 24-hour trial. And most people are pretty impressed with the response that they get. And so, that way they're going to be believers. And one thing I would recommend to you guys before I turn it back to these guys is when you get someone doing their first couple of posts, we can attract a lot of people with a free opportunity, with a way to make extra money in their first day or two on social media. Where I think the real leadership comes in is having a conversation with somebody within those first couple days and saying, hey, would you like to just do this on a casual basis, make a little bit extra money? Or would you like to learn how to create more of a part to full-time income? And so what we're doing is we are exposing people with a message or with a video. We involve them by having them do a post, and we upgrade them by having a conversation about the compensation plan. And so that's where you guys can share. We have a link to the compensation plan you can send them, or you can tag them in the group. And that's where if you guys are new, I would recommend get on a 3-way phone call with your upline. And that way your upline can share a little bit of the bigger picture with them. and find out what's their goal, what would they like to accomplish, and help them actually have a clear plan and direction of what to do to get there. Then the last thing I think is just attraction marketing, which is my wife. She's gotten a lot of people over the last week or two just through attraction marketing. So it's by building your brand, building your presence, talking about how this business is changing your lifestyle, because that's what people are really attracted to, and it makes them curious and says, well, geez, that toothpaste thing must really be working. Maybe I should reach out and actually ask them how that works. And so at the end of the day, it's about consistency. It's about putting yourself out there. You don't always know what's going to happen, who's going to say yes, who's going to know. There is a little bit of uncertainty in that. But Brett and I were talking last night, and the people that are out there going towards people, rather, the cow versus carnivore, if you're just waiting for people to come to you, it's going to probably not go as fast as you'd like it to. But if you're focused on, having a goal of how many people are you going to reach out to on a daily basis, and, how many people are you going to talk to, how many referral posts are you going to do each week, then that's really going to accelerate your business.
That's awesome. Thanks, Nick. That was perfect. That was exactly what I wanted you to say. But yeah, so that's really true. That's the main thing, is this isn't going to be something where you can just sit back on autopilot and do Facebook posts and make it to Blue Diamond. Okay. This is not going to happen. The best people that you're going to find are going to be the ones that you involve in the business, that you involve in the group, that you talk with daily, that are proactively coming to you and doing things and asking good questions. And that's the best way to go about this, is really to treat it like a business. Okay. So if you want to make $1 million doing Nu Skin, work as hard as you would work in anything else to make $1 million. And ultimately what's going to happen is you're going to make $1 million, and then it's going to be on autopilot. Okay. So let's do that first. Okay. Let's go out, do our posts, be creative, be fun, be positive on your Facebook, be positive on your social media, add new friends, and proactively reach out to people. And Brent, we're coming up on 30 minutes. Are there any final notes that you wanted to leave us with?
Yeah, I'm just going to give you a couple of quick pattern interrupts for people that, we're all out and about and we bump into people. One of the pattern interrupts that I like to use is, I just found out how to. Whenever you say that to somebody, it stops them in their tracks. Their mind just kind of immediately pays attention. I just found out how to, and then you can add whatever you want. I just found out how to make money in social media. I just found out how to retire from my job. I just found out how to work at home. I just found out, there's 8 billion things that you can throw in there that you just found out if you're working in this business. If you're listening to 10 at 10, if you're participating in the social media, you can go the product direction. I just found out how to have the whitest teeth possible. Or whatever other product you want to add in there. But that pattern interrupt, I just found out, can be used on or offline. That's the first one I love. The second one that I love and use all the time is, who do you know that? Who do you know that has a big social following? Who do you know that loves social media? Who do you know that wants to stay home with their kids? Who do you know that would like to work at the soccer game? Who do you know? Who do you know that speaks Spanish? Who do you know that knows people in Mexico? Who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know that could paint my bathroom? Right? The whole world works on that. We live in a now networked world, and we're all looking for that referral. And I got to tell you, some of the best people that have come into my business globally have all come from a who do you know pattern interrupt. And so be creative with that. You can use that on or offline. And so then the third one that I love to use is when I ask somebody what they do for a living. This is something we do all the time. This is a cocktail party. Every social gathering, family or otherwise, we're going to ask people, hey, what do you do? It's just a natural thing to do. And no matter what they say, I always say, and this is going to sound somewhat disingenuous, but I always sell them their own nightmare. So what I do is I say, really? You're an airline pilot? Wow, that must be a license to print money, right? I got to tell you, if you tell somebody whatever they're doing is a license to print money, you better buckle up, because they're going to sell you their nightmare. They're going to sell you their time selling nightmare, right? They're just going to tell you all about the mechanics of selling time. It doesn't matter what it is. They're going to be struggling. They're going to be struggling for time. They're going to be struggling for money. And you're going to have to cut them off at some point, because they're going to sell you their nightmare. And when they do, I'm going to look at them and I'm going to say, do you want to do something about that? That's another pattern interrupt, right? Do you want to do something about that? That's a pattern interrupt that we should all use every single day. I hope you wrote this stuff down, because it's just flowing out of me right now. Right? And so, that's some prospecting stuff. That's some inviting stuff. And that leads to the opportunity to talk about the business. And so, sorry, you guys, I probably overtalked that, but it's just what I do, right?
No, you're great, Dad. I think that was really, really good information, and definitely worth sticking around 2 minutes for. People in your business have come around from that type of a question. That's something we should all pay attention to. But Dad, do you want to close up? Is that it? Or is there any last?
I think we're done. I think we got a nice clean recording that people can share around, and that was part of the goal. And we've got so many good things happening right now that, it's kind of crazy how much opportunity there is. You can almost be drowned in opportunity.
That's true. That is very true.
There were a couple things that came up in the chat. I posted out both the 4-minute and the 10-minute video in this chat. They're both on the team YouTube, and we're happy to post them in the group anytime. And what else? Oh, there was another one. We handled that one. Okay. Great.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We're going to go ahead and end that recording then, Dad.